The whole thing with the Miz and R Truth being fired, I actually really liked it because something that I noticed, I don't know if any of you guys noticed this, but during like the opening video package for Monday Night Raw, or like the opening title sequence, whatever the hell you want to call it, like you saw like 5 people, like the first 5 faces you saw, John Cena, CM Punk, Alberto Del Rio, The Miz, and R Truth. So WWE, they're basically establishing their top players on Monday Night Raw, and those are the 5 top players on the show. And I like how they're upping the profile of The Miz and R Truth. They talk about this conspiracy and how they were left by the wayside when Triple H came around, but now their profile is being upped, and of course we're going to see them come back to WWE at some point. But the question is, when do they come back, and in what capacity? Something very interesting, I was on WWE's website yesterday just messing around, and I went to WCW.com, and I'm going to go in there right now to check to see if it's still up. But yeah, I went to WCW.com, and the first story up on there, it's still up on there, Return of the nWo. Now, of course, this is just rumors, and this is just speculation, but we have Kevin Nash, who was fired by Triple H. He shows up at Night of Champions. Then we have The Miz and R Truth. They end up getting fired. Of course, they're going to come back at some point. It'll be pretty interesting to see if they all molded together and came together as an alliance. Like, what would you guys think about that? Like, the return of the nWo. And even if it isn't necessarily the nWo, maybe just a new faction in WWE. I'll say, as far as I'm concerned, I'm nervous about it because The Miz and R Truth, they were doing well on their own, and they were highly entertaining on their own. And also with the whole faction thing, I've been burned by WWE too many times very recently with these factions. Look at Nexus. It started out so hot, then it ended up fizzling out. Hell, you can go back to SummerSlam 2010, and that could have been the nail in the coffin for Nexus, but they kept chugging along, and they ended up fizzling out. And I don't even want to get started on the core. Like, I don't even ever think that damn thing was right. So WWE, they've tried these faction things very recently. So would they be, willing to do it once again? And if they do it once again, will they get it right this time, or will people be like tired of it by now? Because like I said, they've done it a couple times before in the last year and not too successful. So we'll see how it all goes. My whole thing is, when you get these factions, you have to go all out. You have to go 100% all out, full force with these factions. You can't try to half-ass things, and that's what I think they half-ass things with Nexus, and I can't even say half-ass with the core. That was like 1% ass. That wasn't even 50%. That was like 1% ass. So yeah, they have to go all out with it. I really liked Evolution. As far as legacy goes, and they weren't too good with what they did with Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes outside of Randy Orton, but as far as how Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase related to Randy Orton and pushing that agenda and pushing him to the top, I think they did a pretty good job with that also. I've gotten a couple people that actually said they think Triple H buried CM Punk at Night of Champions. I'm like, are you fucking serious? He buried CM Punk after a competitive back and forth match where he had to, 3 pedigrees, jackknife powerbomb, interferences from The Miz and R Truth, all of that to take out CM Punk, and that was a burial. Come on now. I think some people, anytime somebody that they like loses, that's a burial. And that's screwed up. That's a screwed up way of thinking. I absolutely hate the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I really do. I fucking hate this pay-per-view. Out of all of the themed pay-per-views that WWE does, this is the #1 pay-per-view that I hate. I hated Bragging Rights also. They got rid of that one. Now my #1 public enemy is Hell in a Cell. The reason why I hate Hell in a Cell pay-per-views is it takes the magic out of a Hell in a Cell match being booked. Like, we already knew before the pay-per-view we're going to get some Hell in a Cell matches, so like I said, it takes away that magic. It takes away the surprise. Like, remember, years ago, where there used to be a feud, and the feud would be so hot, and the feud would be, to the point where these two guys legitimately hated each other's guts, and they wanted to tear each other apart. They wanted to, try to maim and torture the other person. Then you get somebody out there, the authority figure or something. You know what, you guys, you're competing in a Hell in a Cell match. The crowd would go, ooh, and ah, and it would be so shocking and surprising. But now when you got Hell in a Cell matches where you're forcing people into Hell in a Cells, it takes away that magic for me. So that's why I hate the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. But and another reason why I hate it, because we only have 2 fucking weeks in between Night of Champions and Hell in a Cell. How can you legitimately and naturally build up a pay-per-view with only 2 fucking weeks? That's only 2 episodes of Monday Night Raw. Then you got another pay-per-view 3 weeks after that. So in a 5-week span, WWE is going to have 3 pay-per-views, a 5-week span. So 5 weeks, that's like $165 fucking dollars on pay-per-views. And I'm the type of person, yes, I buy all of the WWE pay-per-views, but I don't know about this one. I just don't know. It seems as if they're really going all out with Mark Henry, because if you guys notice, if you watch Monday Night Raw, they gave him the top of the 10 p.m. hour. And if you're familiar with how ratings work and how, the booking of the shows go, that 10 p.m. hour, the top of that hour is very important. Like, they used to give that hour with that segment to The Miz when they were trying to push him up. The Miz, I used to call him Mr. 10 p.m. because you knew as soon as 10 p.m. rolled around, you were going to see The Miz on the TV. But yeah, they gave that segment to Mark Henry, and from him being he's on SmackDown, and they gave him the 10 p.m. segment on Monday Night Raw. So it looks as if they're really going full force with Mark Henry, and I'm really hoping that they do, because he's looking really impressive to me. And the thing that is very important with this Mark Henry thing, he's looking legitimate to me. Like, when I look at Mark Henry, like, actually, when he what did he say? I forgot what he said. It was something like I don't need to say anything. This is all the talking that I need to do. And he like pushed the belt in JR's face. I literally jumped back I jumped back a little bit, because I was like, okay, what the fuck is going on? Like, he literally scared me. And that's the most important thing there. When he's out there doing what he's doing, if it's believable, if it's legit. And when I look at Mark Henry, he looks legit to me. He really looks legit. Like, when he's going around whooping people's ass and he's, doing all of this destruction, I believe it. So that's why I'm a big fan of Mark Henry now. It seems like he has the potential to go that far. When he was talking about how, he isn't sharing that title with anybody, and how he's going to be the most dominant champ in history, and how he wasn't ever losing that title, like, this could be really good. This could be really good. In some cases, backstage officials should stay backstage. And this is one of the cases. John Laurinaitis, he's like void of personality, like, and his voice. Oh my God. Whoever decided to give him a fucking mic, they should be future endeavored. He should go and fire them for giving him a mic. Like, I'm John Laurinaitis, the executive vice president of talent relations. Like, I just wish somebody would give him a fucking glass of water. Like, you know those people when they talk, they feel, you feel like you want to cough for them to get that little frog out of their throat. Like, that's how he talks. Like, he talks like he has a fucking frog in his throat and he needs to cough or, get a glass of water or something. Like, no. Not at all. He smokes. Yeah, he sounds like he smokes like a pack a day. That reminds me of that commercial with them kids, and that little girl was like, "I'm down to about a pack a day." Yeah, that's him.